So Tony Adams leading Arsenal out, looking for their first home win since the 21st of February against a Norwich side who have been somewhat parsimonious of late, keeping 3 clean sheets in the last 6 games. Arm around the shoulder of the mascot as well from Tony Adams, maybe giving him some encouragement as to what he might have to do if he comes on. 3 changes for both these sides this afternoon. Glenn Helder and David Hillier and John Hartson in from Ray Parlour, Martin Keown and Chris Kawamia for Arsenal. As for the visitors, well, it's Rob Newman and Carl Bradshaw and Andy Johnson who replace John Polston, Mike Milligan and Ian Crook. That's in the centre of midfield being changed around by John Dean, the Norwich manager, and whilst alterations across the park really from an Arsenal perspective, with Glenn Helder getting his opportunity. The Dutchman who arrived in February from Vitesse Arnhem on the wide midfield, and Arsenal in lovely sunshine will get us off and underway for this top flight fixture. Tony Adams receiving early doors, looking for Hartson, chance for Helder to have a bit of a run, so being well cleared away, and then Neil Adams hooks it out of play. So 2 Adams on the park, 1 for Arsenal, partnering this man Steve Bold at the back, and of course 1 for Norwich City in the shape of Neil Adams. Winterburn with the throw. Steve Bold, and some hassling and harrying there really from Ashley Ward, and Tony Adams has to just spread across his back line. Clearance from Vince Bartram. The referee is unhappy with the boot left in on the challenge, and Andy Johnson has a free kick awarded his way, and Rob Newman sprays it forward. Vince Bartram though gathers. There's potency potentially about the Norwich lineup. Have to be wary from an Arsenal perspective. Vince Bartram though with his clearance, rare outing for him. Made his debut back in December. Andy Marshall, young goalkeeper, long launch clearance from the East Anglian, but Lee Dixon has possession. Scooped header away for Dixon to deal with. He's done so effectively. And they blasted the referee's whistle for a foul on Rob Ollathorne, and he seems to be struggling there as well, Rob Ollathorne, from that, but gets himself up and ready to take this free kick. Ward again the intended target. Good skill from Dixon. Merson. Must be a pattern to this game at the moment. Can Arsenal just impose themselves on it? Well won by Hillier, and now Glenn Helder has a chance to run. It's on to possession well. Now Dixon, back to Adams. Helder. Nice, tricksy little skill. Rolled through to Ian Wright, good spin and turn. John Hartson, the intended target. Cut out though at the back. Well dealt with by John Newsom. Adams with the header clear. Dixon. Hartson, hassling and harrying. It's Rob Newman. Scuffs it away, the Bristolian. Steve Morrow and David Hillier buzzing around midfield, and Vince Bartram with possession again. Stuart Houston, caretaker manager, handing out some instructions there. Martin Keown wearing the cap. Will he get involved in the game? That's what he'll be wondering as a substitute. Always want to play. John Hartson with a strong challenge, and again, blast of the referee's whistle stops any forward progress. And condition of the Norwich man is checked, but Carl Bradshaw seems to be okay. It's a free kick which will be taken by Andy Marshall. Maybe 20 later this month, 19 though, made his debut as sub back in December. Ward and Curitin as the front pronging attack. Neil Adams on the right-hand side for Norwich. He won't get there. Bold clears. Right beaten in the air this time. It's good challenging in midfield, and again Arsenal wrestling the ball clear, flicking it back to the goalkeeper to go forward again. Rob Newman with the clearance header. Really get the best of distances, but Neil Adams works it back. Carl Bradshaw sliding in. Winterburn though nicks it clear. That's a good overlapping run from Helder now. Skipped over one challenge. Who's he got options for? Pulled back. Hartson! Arsenal 1-0. Ben Helder with the setup, and John Hartson just in the right position, and a composed finish from the Welshman. But clever work down the left-hand side, and those fans are delighted. Glenn Helder with the setup at the end, and a super cutback, perfectly placed. John Hartson dabbed at it, really. Rob Newman with the half-hearted, heeled attempt to try and clear it, but John Hartson, with his third goal of the season for Arsenal, puts it home and gives the Gunners the lead. Norwich will try and respond immediately to that goal. As always, you have to be wary when you have conceded, but that's a sharp little knock as well. Steve Morrow's watching on as David Hillier just marches away from that. So eventually it's a throw-in. I think he seems to be okay, but Stuart Houston again urging and cajoling. I'm very pleased to see his team take the lead. One in the last 6 in all competitions, victories for Arsenal against the Norwich City side, who are struggling at the wrong end of the table. Struggling in this game now. Merson and Dixon. It's Dixon who carries. Hillier who dabs. Merson put some pressure on the left-back position for Norwich City and wins the throw. Dixon will take. Helder again, who created the first goal, jogs across. Sweeps it towards Lee Dixon, gets it stuck under his feet, it's done well. Good cross, near post, bobbled home! John Hartson arriving, makes the contact with the ball. Well, what a start to the game that John Hartson has had. He's been involved in everything from an attacking possibility. Lee Dixon gets the hugs. I'm not sure that John Hartson actually got a touch on it. Lee Dixon is taking the congratulations, and I think John Hartson has said, it's your goal, Dicko. Here it comes, swept in. Hartson, no contact, bobbles beyond Andy Marshall, and Lee Dixon is given the credit for the goal. No wonder he had a big, broad grin on his face. First league goal of the season for Lee Dixon, and it's given Arsenal a super advantage in this game. This time John Hartson is using a little bit too much muscle in there for the referee's liking. But I'm sure caretaker manager will be delighted at the moment, even though he's having a long discussion with the substitutes behind. Martin Keown and Chris Kawamia watching on. Gary Lewin there too. Rob Newman with the free kick for Norwich City. Tony Adams powerfully heads it away from Darren Ward, and then it's lofted over the top again. Here's John Hartson, he's into the penalty area. Is it 3? Yes, it is! John Hartson. Andy Marshall tried as desperately as he could to try and prevent that from going in, but the Welshman, with a rasping effort, stinging the palms of the teenage goalkeeper, and the Gunners fans are absolutely delighted. Well, having come into this game not been in the best of goal-scoring form, Arsenal in the first 12-13 minutes have really started putting Norwich on the rack. And here's John Hartson through, took his time, picked his spot. Marshall made as much of a block as he could. His wrists weren't strong enough, and Arsenal lead 3-0. Only the third time in 24 games that Arsenal have scored more than one in a match. But they have to be alert as Norwich try and break forward. And Darren Eadie wins himself a throw-in. Quickly taken to the Welshman Bowen. It's good defending, flicked away. Back by Rob Newman. Eadie's making a little run down that right-hand touchline. He's found by his colleague, but has, well, possession wriggled away from him. Darren Eadie, 19-year-old, another young player in the Norwich line-up against the more experienced Lee Dixon. Darren Eadie there, the West Country, but there is a source of players that Norwich City have taken to East Anglia from the West Country in the team as well. The likes of Andy Johnson in midfield from Bristol, and Chippenham-born Darren Eadie, Rob Newman, £600,000 purchase. Bristol City, and he challenges now with Hartson. Winterburn to Helder. Air of expectation again. That's a poor challenge. Well, the referee waves play on. Refereeing in the end. Winterburn near post. And Rob Newman has to divert it behind for a corner kick to Arsenal. It was a poor challenge on Glenn Helder, but the referee decided to wave on advantage, and Arsenal almost made Norwich pay. Helder's corner. Adams jumps. Tipped onto the crossbar by Andy Marshall from Paul Merson's effort. It's not yet clear. Scrambled away. Merson again. Just a ball juggle with it. Actually, Andy Johnson tries to bring it clear as it's looped to Helder, but he's straight offside. And at the moment, Arsenal are rampant. Norwich do not know how to deal with the Gunners. Helder's corner. And Tony Adams initially jumped. It bounced once. What about that for technique? And a good save too from the young goalkeeper, who's plucked the ball out of the back of net 3 times, then got involved in the scramble, turned goalwards, but John Hartson couldn't find a way through the massive legs that were there. Well, John Hartson, a couple of goals in this game, up to 4 then for the season. He was involved, but a change required for Arsenal. Steve Morrow is having to be replaced, and looks like there's a feel of the old hamstring there for Steve Morrow. He's getting a good reception as he comes off the pitch. The 24-year-old to be replaced by Martin Keown, shaking the hands between the pair of them. Keown, who joined the club a couple of years ago, back off the bench and back into central midfield. Winterburn with the throw. Tony Adams to Bartram, back to Adams. Again, confident goalkeeping from a team who lead quite convincingly. It's the side in the shape of Norwich, who have only had 1 defeat in the last 6 league games. But Helder now breaking through again. Oh, that was a last gasp challenge, wasn't it? For Newman to turn it away. Neil Adams beaten to it by Nigel Winterburn. Strong fullback play though, pushing up the pitch, and Carl Bradshaw will take the throw in. Sheffield born and bred Carl Bradshaw, Sheffield United fan. Wouldn't be a fan of the scoreline on the scoreboard at the moment, will he? Bold. Hartson's flick. Ian Wright tries to get in behind. He pushes over John Newsom, and the referee comes to reprimand, nothing else, as Newsom gets himself up to his feet. He's not happy with the challenge. The big solid 6'2" centre back, Ian Wright, 5'9". John Newsom still complaining. Forward towards Ashley Ward, just dribbled away.
Stadium manager to the control room immediately. The stadium manager to the control room immediately.
Thank you. For Norwich then, who are struggling to get any sort of purchase of the ball or any sort of possession in the right third of the pitch to potentially challenge that Arsenal penalty area, but they do have a free kick. And Tony Adams, the judge, to have fouled young Andy Johnson there. This is a handy position for a set piece. Neil Adams is stood behind this. Vince Bartram's organising his wall, just wants them to shunt across. It's rolled and flicked, and Curitin's drive, I'd say, coming up in the penalty area, which is gathered by Vince Bartram. And he organised his wall. It was well worked between the Norwich midfielders. Eventually Eadie with the shot, which Bartram gathered, and he just hauled back into his hands. But look at that work from Tony Adams again, getting ahead of Jamie Curitin as he pumped his way into that penalty area. Adams just shielding the ball for his goalkeeper. Helder. Again. Good cross, Marshall gathers. To Andy Marshall from Bradshaw. Ashley Ward challenges, Tony Adams finds Nigel Winterburn. Helder, Dixon on the overlap. Keown infield. Adams behind it. Played onto the chest of Neil Adams though. Adams to Adams. Ward. Oh, it's been lost in midfield, and Norwich have a chance to break. Got straight through to a gratefully receiving Vince Bartram. Darren Eadie again trying to be creative down that left-hand side. Made his debut in London for Norwich, the Darren Eadie, against Queen's Park Rangers last season. Here's Neil Adams. Bowen. Bradshaw. Steve Bold just steps across Ashley Moore's done really well. Helder. Right, trying to stay onside. He is still onside. The flag has been spotted by the man in the middle. Play is allowed to continue. Arsenal really closing down high up the pitch. Stuart Houston, though, for a man whose side are 3-0 up, is still wanting things to be done the right way, and Lee Dixon is trying to oblige. Ilya. Helder. Oh, good trickery. Still going. Helder. Oh, lovely little cross. Anyone there? Well, it's only Rob Newman. But he had to be alert of the danger posed by Ian Wright behind him. And Glenn Helder again. It's a nice ripple of applause for his skill. Norwich at the moment look like a heavyweight boxer on the ropes. Merson. Helder. Good chest down to Adams. Helder. Adams again. He won't get there. Scooped away from him by the Welsh international Bowen. Oh, lovely flick from Ian Wright to Glenn Helder. Returns the favour. Yellow shirts working hard to deny Arsenal any space, but they have it now with Dixon. Can try and break with Curitin. He's got Eadie for support. And again, Norwich have a period of potential possession, and the forward ball is going to evade Ian Wright. Bounce straight through to Andy Marshall, but Ian Wright, 12 goals so far in the league. In the last 6, though, for Mr. Right. Newsom for Norwich City again, and it's Bartram to the edge of his area, and that's a good mighty heft, isn't it? Helder and Bradshaw challenging. Winterburn towards Ian Wright. Oh, claims a handball against Rob Newman by Ian Wright. The referee's having none of it. Dixon spills over, but gets to his feet, and he's still down on the overlap. Rob Newman will allow Andy Marshall to pick up. Both fullbacks this afternoon for Arsenal really been offering that explosive attacking pace down the flanks on the overlap. Eadie for Norwich. Arsenal's caretaker manager Stuart Houston will be a very satisfied man at the interval at the moment, leading by 3-0, and it could have been more. Strong challenge from Bradshaw. Adams. Neil Adams, that is. He has it again. Does he just get caught though? Well, he's shunted the ball away. That's a good bit of skill from Jamie Curran. Drops the shoulder, flicked goalwards. Vince Bartram helped out by Tony Adams. Bartram made the block, looks at his gloves, spilled away from him. Tony Adams taking no chances with the clearance. It's a good little jinking run from the Bristolian. He's got ability about him. It just moved in the air, didn't it? Vince Bartram got caught out by the wobble of the ball. Tony Adams helped him out, as any good defender should do. Here comes the corner. Bartram gathers it inside that 6-yard box again, but just wants everyone to calm down, doesn't he? The Brummie, 26 years old these days, Vince Bartram. The second time in 20 games that Arsenal have bagged more than a goal in the match. Last time was against Crystal Palace. Norwich City, well, games against Arsenal are not really something that they enjoy. Maybe they can enjoy something now with Eadie towards Cureton. Cureton brings Norwich back at least to within some respectable distance, and Darren Eadie's looked lively on the left-hand side. Jamie Cureton's earlier forced a good save from Vince Bartram. This time though, good attacking play. It was Ward flicking it towards Darren Eadie. The young teenager saw the run of Jamie Curran. He's got beyond Steve Bold there. Pinpoint cross and a good finish as well, with Vince Bartram beaten, trying to cut out the cross, and Jamie Curran scores what is his 4th goal for Norwich this season. And two 19-year-olds combining to create that chance and finish it off for Norwich City. Merson against Ullathorne. Still going, Paul Merson. Good spin, turn drive, stinging the palms of Marshall. And you see how much the fans love that. They've got a couple of goals so far in the league season for the Gunners is Paul Merson, but looking for his 3rd against Leicester and Crystal Palace. Lost those 2 games. Ian Wright. Well, the whistle is going to stop his forward momentum. And it was allowed Uenar, but Ian Wright has been flagged off, and John Newsom takes the free kick. Dixon beat to it by Eadie. Set up the first goal for Norwich. Towards Bowen. Martin Keown with a good bit of tracking back. Merson. Hillier. Dixon again. Merson tries to take it away from Rob Newman, who's a bit of a barrel-chested man mountain, and John Hartson, though, will give him a battle up there. John Hartson with 2 goals. Scored by Lee Dixon. John Hartson was there, but quite magnanimously for a striker. He admitted he hadn't made the final touch. It had gone straight in from Dixon. Adams. Ian Wright, good skill. Super block in the end. Very brave too from Ian Wright's drive. Andy Johnson, Darren Eadie again. Good pace down that left-hand side. Teasing cross, but Winterburn heads it away. And again, John Hartson a little bit too physical on the challenge with Rob Newman. Ullathorne. Eadie. Seems to be the centrepiece of anything that Norwich have. It's an attacking force down that left-hand flank. Darren Eadie, and a change being prepared by John Dean, the Norwich manager. Looks like Daryl Such about to come on. Thorne's attempted cross, bounces straight through to Vince Bartram. rangy clearance again, but it's going to be Glenn Helder eventually picks up, and again the anticipation rises. He gets beyond one challenge, another roll into Ian Wright, but Ian Wright knows that was a decent setup, but he did have the likes of Newsom and Rob Newman there with him to try and prevent him getting a goal-bound shot. In an afternoon where Arsenal have scored 3, Ian Wright has scored in 6 now, still looking to break that mini, should we say, setback that he's suffering. Neil Adams pushes over Nigel Winterburn, who takes the free kick quickly. Helder to Ian Wright. Is he being fouled? Well, Carl Bradshaw got the ball. It's the official decision, and Ian Wright lying off the pitch. Bold. And Dixon trying to take it off Ashley Ward now. Ward tried to somehow get a cross in. He's won himself a corner kick, and Ian Wright still lying, now on the pitch, getting no sympathy from the officials. Here comes the change. Darryl Such is coming on then for Norwich City. And it's Rob Ollathorne that he's going to replace, the Yorkshireman, being replaced by an East Anglian. It's a rarity in the Norwich squad. It's Darryl Such who bursts onto the pitch. The 23-year-old, 9th time he's come off the bench this season, Darryl Such. It's his 25th appearance of the campaign. Eadie with the corner. Comfortably cleared in the end. Carl Bradshaw. Mark Bowen that for the team that trail by 3-1. It's worked it through to the man who scored the Norwich goal, Cureton. We've seen how to go from distance already in this game. Newsom. Neil Adams. Finishing the half positively now, Norwich. Adams cross. Well, it's a scooper for Jamie Cureton, but well, he scored 1 goal, but that wasn't going to challenge Vince Bartram. Had to hook it over his shoulder some way goalwards, but to no great effect. And Vince Bartram will take his time with this. 7th start of the season for the 26-year-old. 5th game in the row between the sticks for Arsenal. Holding on to possession well, Arsenal. Bending his run very well, Ian Wright. Hartson's in field, as is Helder. It's cut out by Andy Marshall. Neil Adams looked up. And Keown plays it forward into space down the right-hand channel, but Evan was running back from an offside position. Stuart Houston. I'm sure he'll have words to say, but will be very satisfied, leading 3-1 at half-time. Newsom. Bold. Vince Bartram again. 3 wins in the last 13 going into this game for Arsenal. 2 of them away from home. Just 1 win, though, in 10 for Norwich, who trail again. That's a victory. Away from home, that is. 1 win in 10 for Norwich City. Grimsby in the FA Cup. They look as if it's going to be 1 win in 11. Mark Bowen wants to get on with his throw. 2nd goal before the break, I suppose his philosophy would make it much more interesting in the Norwich dressing room. Here's Cureton, who scored the first, and his threaded pass for Ashley Ward was too heavy. And again, Vince Bartram takes his time. Ward makes him hurry up. Thought about the throw out. Launch it long instead. Ilya. Wilson robbed of the ball. Ward. Jamie Curtin again on the angled run. Curtin tries to slice in a shot, and he's forced Nigel Winterburn to make the block. So Jamie Curtin has been lively up front for Norwich. He's had some bits and pieces apart from his goal. But he's created a late corner at the end of the first half, and Darren Eadie will take it. In swinger then from the left footer from Chippenham. Oh, that's a good take. Rob Newman was there, just half-hearted from the centre-back, and Vince Bartram, good take and a good bowl out as well. Merson. Lauduanar. The handball on Andy Johnson in midfield. Well, the referee was Johnny on the spot, didn't see it. Bowen, looking for Ashley Ward. And again, Arsenal will take their time with the throw. David Seaman watching on. Interested party, of course, watching on the performance of Vince Bartram there this afternoon. Harper, the potential change that could be made between the sticks should it be required. Half-time whistle blown then. Arsenal comfortable at the break. Goals from John Hartson with 2. Well about a hat-trick potentially, but he was very magnanimous. He gave the second goal of the game to Lee Dixon straight in off the right-back's boot. Jamie Curtin pulling one back for Norwich City after good work from Darren Eadie on the left-hand side. Eadie's possibly being one of the most potent forces that Norwich will have. Has it given them enough hope to take down the tunnel? Surely Stuart Houston will be delighted with what he's seen. Half-time then here at Highbury in the sunshine. Arsenal happy. Arsenal 3, Norwich City 1. Well, Norwich City will get us off for this second half. They've only won 3 games when they've conceded the first goal of a match so far in this league season, which at the moment is looking like ending in potential relegation. None of those victories have come in the last 16 occasions where Norwich have conceded first, and Arsenal, well, barring that Jamie Curtin strike, have done very well to keep the Canaries out. Dixon. Ian Wright desperate for a goal. Rob Newman is a tough character, and they call Charmer in East Anglia. Keane though just mopping up. Hartson, did he get a shove from Newson there? Eadie. Down Eadie. Has a great effectiveness further down the pitch. At the time he was just trying to win a bit of territory. Merson gets caught and himself a free kick, and I think there's a yellow card going to be showing the way of Rob Newman as well. And Paul Merson is one of those players who has that skill, that balletic ability with his feet to just draw in fouls from defenders. Adams. It's good skill. And a good cross as well, but Norwich have dealt with it. How effectively? Well, Glenn Helder. Back to Steve Bold, who was a bit hurried into his attempted clearance, couldn't do too much with it. Pat Rice enjoying the sunshine there a minute ago, wasn't he? Here's Steve Bold. Takes it away from Ashley Ward. Helder. There is a real excitement and expectancy when he has the ball, and you can see why. Ian Wright. Oh, is he shoved over by John Newsom? He's helped to his feet in the end by the Norwich City defender. But questions were asked. Shoulder to shoulder, I think, was the eventual judgment. Stuart Houston is staring at the first home win since his first game in charge against Nottingham Forest on the 21st of February. Andy Marshall had to sweep up there as the goalkeeper. 13th start of the league season for Andy Marshall. 3 clean sheets he's kept, including that 3-0 victory against Ipswich last time out. 3 conceded today. Little flick again, but Norwich had enough men back. Keogh. Winterburn. Bustless challenge from Neil Adams. Hartson stumbles, but he's done well there, John Hartson, to regain his composure and his footing. And Martin Keown with the header. And with a bit of a knee problem as well for Martin Keown, rubbing that right knee of his. The referee is going to stop play whilst he checks on the condition of the Oxford-born man. And Gary Lewin is very quick onto the pitch to hand out remedial attention to Martin Keown. It's the opportunity for the 2 sets of fans to exchange a pleasantry or two. Sure whether Martin Keown's going to be all right. I think Gary Lewin's worked his magic, just manipulating that knee there, and Andy Marshall takes a drink. Warm day, beginning of April. And, whilst Norwich were victorious at 3-0 up last time against their deadliest local rivals, Ipswich Town. Of course, Arsenal suffered a 3-0 defeat away at Manchester United. Keown's okay. Started that game against United alongside Steve Morrow. He's replaced Steve Morrow today. Ball which David Hillier sweeps sportingly. Helder. Bradshaw did enough. Improvised that block, really, Carl Bradshaw. Stuart Houston wants to get some words out to the mercurial midfielder. Glenn Helder, good long throw. That's a tight decision. It's a very tight decision. Ian Wright, though, peels away, accepts it. Still seeking that goal, this barren run of his. It will end at some time, but I would have hoped that when Arsenal have scored 3, he would have got at least one of them. Newson. It's John Hartson. John Dean there, a man with great concerns. Took over from Mike Walker, who of course led Norwich into Europe. Mike Walker is dabbed back to Johnson. Bowen. Darren Eadie. He's impressed people inside Highbury today. Eadie again. Bowen. Eddie Johnson. Mark Bowen. Tony Adams alert to that. Good header away. Now Glenn Helder robs it in midfield. And Wright couldn't take the ball with him, but Winterburn has it. Hillier. Oh, great little play into space, and look at the pace of Glenn Helder now. Cushioned little pass across towards Ian Wright. They're desperately trying to set up their teammate. Merson, Dixon. Spreading play. Hillier again. Dink over the top he set things up with last time, and he's done it again, this time for Ian Wright. Waits for some support. Rob Newman closed him down. David Hillier, 25-year-old, born in Blackheath, of course. David Hillier, not lost when he's played this season. A lovely little flick through midfield. Helder with the corner. Well, that bounced around in there. There's a couple of shots at handball. It's worth a try. Johnson really fine. Adams. Here again. It's a good cross. Downward header towards Merson. Paul Merson forcing a good save from Andy Marshall. David Hillier picked his man at the far post. John Hartson the intended target, and that's a really nice little cushion ball back to Paul Merson, and a good flying save from Andy Marshall. Merson with the corner. Oh, Marshall's gone all Superman there. But, the referee says there was a foul anyway. Sandy Marshall having made a super save, and Paul Merson, this time Tony Adams being a little bit too physical up front. And, got a couple of goals in the league this season, Tony Adams. Just, of course, December, January time. His goals are important, his leadership qualities even more so. Ward. Daryl Such. It's where Tony Adams comfortably gets it away and shows how big and strong he is, but Andy Johnson wins it back. Neil Adams with the cross. Vince Bartram with catching practice. Well, there's been a lot of draws between these two teams of late, 5 of the last 6. Wouldn't be on the cards at the moment. Bowen Fields in the deep inside the Norwich territory. Here's Eadie. Oh, he's done well. He's got round Dixon. He's got pace about him too as the 19-year-old, and he streams forward. Look at him go. Oh, he needed a delivery. He looks down at the pitch, Darren Eadie. Thought about maybe having a blame at the bobble, but it's good electric pace from Darren Eadie to get himself into a decent position after having rounded Lee Dixon, but couldn't deliver. Get some encouragement though. That's good captaincy from John Newsom. Just encouraging the teenager who's making his 19th league start of the season, Darren Eadie. Keogh, Newsom, exchanging a header and a pass. Bartram, blocked by Ashley Ward, closed down well though by the Mancunian. Arrived back in December from Crewe. Scored 2 on his debut for Norwich, if I remember rightly, against Chelsea. Dixon with the throw. He's got his first league goal of the season this afternoon. Winterburn. Daryl Such has to take it away from Paul Merson, who'd run from right to left to try and continue that forward momentum for Arsenal. Winterburn with the throw. Helder. Oh, super skill. Decent cross, tempting as well. Hartson couldn't quite get there. Bowen scuffs it away, his compatriot. Hartson wants to keep the momentum going. Dixon. Hillier. Hartson stays wide. Good exchange of pass between him and Keogh. Still going, John Hartson. Looking for Ian Wright. Keogh again. Glenn Helder. Oh, that is absolutely cheeky. It's Ian Wright, forced to Hartson, blocked by Andy Marshall. The ball runs away from him. Impudent cheek from Glenn Helder, setting up that chance, and Andy Marshall denying John Hartson his hat-trick. And Tony Adams, well, he should have had the throw in Arsenal's way off Ashley Ward. So he makes sure he wins this one successfully. And Norwich are penned back into their own half again. And the scoreline says 3-1 Norwich, 3-1 to Arsenal against Norwich, but Andy Marshall's made a couple of very fine saves. Andy Johnson. Secure it and Ward not linking up. Dixon shields it away from Eadie. Here's Adams. Good flick, Keogh, will he get there? Rob Newman tries to get ahead of him. Keogh puts Andy Marshall under pressure, and the young goalkeeper saw Martin Keogh breathing down at him. Right into his clearance, and Dixon has it from Hartson again. Bradshaw. Hillier wins it in midfield. Has to put Darryl Such under pressure. Offside flag goes up against Ian Wright. Again, just trying to stay on the shoulder of the last man, Ian Wright, there to stay onside. It's flagged off. And gives Norwich a chance to try and create something. They've not had too many opportunities in this game. Vince Bartram again snuffs out another half chance. Three draws ahead of the Ipswich victory for Norwich last time out. Or two draws and a defeat ahead of that victory. The defeat here in London, Queen's Park Rangers, 2-0. Looks like another defeat's heading their way. Neil Adams, though, again, pacey little darting run. He's trying to do something about it, but Merson now can use the advantage of Norwich stretching the game to good effect, hopefully. And forces sliding challenge from Andy Johnson, which Merson is unable to hold on to possession. A little smile again, though, from 27-year-old from Harlesden. Tantalisingly close, some of these opportunities to carve open clear-cut chances, and oh dear, John Hartson, I think, bounced away from that challenge. A shrug in the back, a shove in the back from John Hartson, and he just needs to get some attention right in the lower back as well. That's painful on the coccyx down there, and Gary Lewin again is going to have to hand out some treatment. And a good opportunity for Arsenal players to take on board a drink. Seems to be okay, John Hartson. 2 goals, almost the third. Gave it to Lee Dixon. How often does that happen, that strikers actually give away goals? I don't think he made contact. He knew the replay would be looked at. To Burn, to Keogh. What a delicious pass from Adams to Lee Dixon. Darren Eadie doing his defensive duties there, but Keown again. Ian Wright with the header. Merson with the drive! Merson with the goal. Well, Ian Wright may not have scored, but Paul Merson did. And Ian Wright then goes over to grab the midfielder for Arsenal and haul him to the ground to celebrate a 4th goal of the game. Andy Marshall looked disconsolate, but Paul Merson, 3rd goal of the season. Martin Keown inviting the cross. Ian Wright got the header away. I think Darryl Such may have handled that, but it dropped to Paul Merson, and Andy Marshall missed the flight of the ball and will be disappointed with that. It just slid to his right-hand side. You're on for Arsenal and trying to get involved in the game straight away. It's a good challenge, strong and hard from Martin Keown. Inviting pass for Ian Wright, and yet again he is flagged offside and is unhappy about it. With Ian Wright, he's just had one of those afternoons. Cormier on for John Hartson. As time ticks away at Highbury, and Glenn Helder again. Good pace, strong run, and a essential block from John Newsom. Glenn Helder, it's a chance to have a run at the penalty area. He's not going to turn it down. Take the corner short too. Helder again. Oh, there's Rob Newman. Oh dear! Pick that one out. Rob Newman, 5th goal of the game for Arsenal. It's one of those goals that will probably be replayed on bloopers and what happened next. Helder's cross. He'll get the assist. Rob Newman gets the goal, no question about it. Gave the keeper no chance. Arsenal 5-1 against Norwich, and Rob Newman, who's worked manfully this afternoon for the Canaries. I think that just compounds the misery for the East Anglians. Arsenal get 5 in the league for the first time since the 2nd of May 1992 against Southampton, and it's the 5 that sees them victorious against Norwich City. John Hudson with a pair in the first half, Lee Dixon 2, Paul Merson capping off what was a good game for him with a strike which beat Andy Marshall. An own goal from Rob Newman, and disconsolate Norwich walk off the pitch. Arsenal 5, Norwich City 1.